you've been here 2 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, what am I, a grandpa? I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it, like, man, it's like, I didn't know that was a long time. I'm surprised. A couple of years. Yeah. But I guess back in the mining days, it was different. It wasn't, there really wasn't, actually back in the mining days, there wasn't B&B. It wasn't as hot and popular as it was. There wasn't one of the memes. I guess I came into during the ICO, before the ICO boom happened, and most of us heard about that. But
Hmm.
most of my timeline is like during the Silk Road period and the Charlie Strims and the Ross Ulbricht and it's like Bitcoin beers, where they would have people over and you would buy a beer with Bitcoin. Those old parties and stuff. But
Yeah.
back in that time, back when Bitcoin was like a couple $100 per coin. But it changed. Things changed quick. I think things changed when smart contracts became a big deal. You know,
Yeah.
because you want to launch a cryptocurrency, you needed to usually create a blockchain. You know, and that was the thing to do. You had to create your own blockchain, which was a little more of a barrier to entry. But now it makes it a lot easier, especially with Solana, to like spin something up in a matter of like minutes. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I guess that's really good.
very easy to do. Very easy to spin something up. Yeah, real
Yeah.
quick. But yeah, I see some folks on the stage. Interlink, nice seeing you. Hope you're. I know we've been touch base in a minute. Everything's going well. Building out your decks. I sat in a few spaces with you guys. It's a cool deal. I see Crypto KR. See a few other faces popped in. Paparillo too down there. Guys, make sure to share out the room if you guys haven't. It's a chill space. We're just in here just talking about crypto. I put the title up as basic liquidity pools. I thought it was a cool topic, in my opinion, to talk about liquidity. Most people don't in regards to like dexes and centralized exchanges, basically where the money sits out and how it flows around and what type of pool you utilize. Surprisingly, when I go into spaces, a lot of folks don't know about liquidity, which is the backbone, the lifeblood of a project, how it all works and how things move around. But yeah, there's a lot of different pool options. Used to be V1 that was on PancakeSwap back in the day. I think that was actually before even Uniswap. No, PancakeSwap was built off of Uniswap. So Uniswap had a V1 too, but then they upgraded to V2. Most of you guys have probably heard about V3, and um, V3 for the longest time wasn't very attractive because when it came out, most of these sniper bots or TG bots, as they call them, like Maestro and Banana Gun and Unibot, were not configured to recognize V3 pools, and also token lockers like UNCX or Team Finance, Pinkcell, weren't upgraded to even to lock on V3. So DEX tools wouldn't show a lock when you would lock your liquidity, and that would freak a bunch of people out. So people tended to gravitate away from, V3 concentrated liquidity pools and all that fun stuff that I think is super cool, but no one really used it until a little more recently. But V3 is really cool, what you can do. Everyone should learn about it, how that works. It's not very tax friendly. So you got to figure that all out. But I wouldn't test it with Ethereum. I would test it out with like BNB or Base Chain or even AVAX. I mean, they all have V3 pools now on Uniswap that you can go through and learn how they all work, and, to add add different liquidity pools to different pairings. But it's something I think everyone should figure out how it works, so you can make a lot of money in it, but you can also lose a lot of money in it if you don't know what you're doing. It's better to test on cheaper chains. And soon V4 is coming out, for at least on PancakeSwap, which will be interesting to see how that all works. And we still need to dive into everything that goes on with Trader Joe and their liquidity
Yeah.
pools. Jesus, I just need to like sit down and just study how that all works, with Trader Joe, which is going to be some time to figure it all out because I was in an AVAX talk the other day. It was like a couple hundred people in the space, and I was chatting with them about liquidity. And I was like, "So tell me, how does liquidity work with Trader Joe?" And it's like most people just use, the 50/50, V1. I'm like, so nobody's talking about V2.1, which is essentially V3 or V4
That's
something.
that's something that surprises me, anyways. Like, Uniswap and PancakeSwap, they're coming out with V4, but the majority of people and dApps are still using V2.
I know,
So
I know.
it's kind of interesting because, yeah, they have just, I mean, I know from a developer perspective, it's actually much more difficult to do stuff with V3. But it's like, I don't know if they're doing so much work and so much innovation, but then,
Nobody uses it.
yeah, like everybody's stuck with V2 because it's just simple. It's strange.
Yeah.
I wonder
Well,
if,
it's
yeah,
simple
what
and
they're
the
gonna,
bots recognize it. So like, for example, we launched these dividends reward tokens that work beautiful for buying, earn BNB and airdropping it out to everyone um, that holds these dividend reward tokens. But it doesn't work on a V2 pool. I mean, a V3 pool. You don't have the
yeah,
option. When you go to create these, you don't have the option to put the router in. And so that doesn't work, and the taxes don't work too on V3. So most people just gravitate to V2. It's cheaper to launch on, number one. If you want to add liquidity on a V3 versus V2, you're going to spend hundreds more to create a V3 pool. So people just like, before they understand anything, they understand money, they're going to like go to the cheaper option. And then most
yeah,
people don't understand anything about like concentrated liquidity and how to set that up and how it all works. So they just don't use it. And it's been on for years too, a long
yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, I'm also kind of puzzled that they haven't, like, so many. There's so maybe they want to weed out all those tax tokens, but they haven't actually officially facilitated tax tokens on V3, because V2 actually, like on Uniswap, it uses it. The contract actually uses different functions to to execute the swap if a token has a tax on it, because it means that more tokens, basically, there is tokens are siphoned out, right? So they don't arrive at the holder's wallet. So it's a specific function to do this, and they haven't provided that for V3. To basically officially say we don't bother to do this. You can do this on your own, or you can create like a wrapped token contract that is basically non-tax or takes care of the tax within the contract, which is very messy, because then you have a token contract with a contract address, and you have a wrapped contract address that you need to use to swap. So that is very confusing, and they officially state in the documentation we're not going to bother to implement this. And I think, yeah, given that, like, I don't know if this is on purpose because they don't like um, tax tokens, and anyways, the legal stuff is very unclear on that anyways, and I don't know, but I feel like that's also a reason why lots of people still use um,
V2.
B2, right? And then also the swaps to do it is so much easier to do it in the contract with V2. It's just so straightforward from a developer's perspective. And I think that's the reason why all these sniper bots still use V2 instead of V3, because it's just a little bit more complicated. The whole thing, how it's implemented, is completely different. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious how that's gonna evolve, or maybe that V4 maybe is a little bit easier again for developers. No idea.
I think V4 might look somewhat similar to how it works on Trader Joe. watched their little
Yeah,
video. They're talking about hooks and grabs and all this stuff, and I was like, this looks very similar to Trader Joe. I don't
yeah,
understand Trader Joe, but all these different options, like it says, like build it your way. And like, doesn't Trader Joe already do all this? I don't understand what they're all doing, but I see like 18 different options for
yeah,
liquidity features, and you guys just showed me a bunch of the different options too, and some of these look very similar. So you just go over the Trader Joe and copy like how they set up pools and call it V4. I'm really curious if that's how it works. I would love to talk to an AVAX person that's really in
yeah.
tune with all the how this all works and get their opinion on V4 versus the current V21 liquidity pairing options on Trader Joe. That would be cool. But most folks just go V1 on Trader Joe, just do the 50-50 and call it, move on to the next thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, goes back to like a lot of people don't understand what liquidity is and how it all works. And yeah, I was on a space the other day and somebody asked a question about liquidity and how important it was. And we've talked to a number of folks that are looking to launch their projects, like the guy the other day that was like really concerned about how to not just add liquidity, but how to manage it, how many tokens to put in, how many tokens to
Hmm.
keep out, when to re-inject more tokens. And a lot of people don't know how that works. I mean, it's kind of messed up. Remember I launched a token, and remember I thought, I guess it's a stupid thing, but I figured it out afterwards. But I thought that if I supplied liquidity, right, and trading was enabled, that I could just add more liquidity after the fact, on the 50-50 pool around the V2, right? But then I did
Hmm.
that, and then I realized that shit, the price per token has gone up dramatically. And so where it would have cost me to do a 50-50 pairing of like 1 ETH to the amount of tokens, it was something dumb, like 100 ETH to the amount of tokens that I had to do. And I was like, okay. And it kept going up and up and up. I was like, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just broke something. And so I was like, oh, everyone needs to stop by. It's like, oh, never mind. This is done. I need to like pull this and start all over again. It's like, oh, but you got to know how it all works. That
Yeah.
token value goes up when trading starts. So if you're doing a 50-50, then you need more ETH or more BNB to supply the same amount of liquidity to the pool. Unless you're doing a V3 pool, then you don't. You don't need the same amount of ETH. You could just launch the token
Hmm.
with whatever amount of ETH you want. It doesn't really matter, and then you can just add more tokens on top of that, on top of that
Yeah.
building up that ceiling, which is super cool how that all works. You know, but but I think you need if you launch a project, you need both. I think first, because of the way the landscape is set up right now, you need first a V2 pool at a very bare minimum because everyone operates on V2 pools. And
Yeah.
then you need to get a V3 pool if you want to have cool options afterwards.
Yeah, I agree.
Looking at the market right now and how some projects are doing. Looks like it's a little bit of a dip today, but that's how it is going into the weekend. I think
It's
Bitcoin's
it's
sitting at
very
63.
it's very stagnant, everything.
Ethereum gas went down to 6 this morning.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? We've seen that like a year ago.
Yeah, it's been about a year since that did that. Gas was
Hmm.
that low.
BNB has been pretty good though.
BNB sitting at 600. I mean,
Yeah.
even with the news that they're trying to put him in prison for 3 years, it's still doing well, in my
Yeah.
opinion. But a lot of these Ethereum projects that quite substantial. I mean, looking at Grok, that was at around 300 million. It's sitting at 50 right now, and that had the whole Zach XBT drama with it.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that took off. But yeah, that's Ethereum only. Just looking through what's going on in the markets right now. A lot of these AI projects that were big because of AI and GPUs, which Alex Becker was mentioning is probably illegal, and I don't think he's wrong. Down the line, there's going to be regulatory issues against that, in some sense. So it'll be interesting to see what the landscape looks like down the line. But a lot of those are having quite substantial pullbacks too.
Yeah.
That were running pretty hard. But it's mostly Ethereum-based projects. I mean, BNB looks like it's going well, but Base seems like it has a lot of weird drama these days. You know, I don't know if that's just the marketers or the influencers, but it seems there's a lot of drama happening over there. A lot of money being made, but a lot of drama too at the same time. I was following someone that was talking a lot. I usually don't follow their posts, but a few folks in our community sent me a project called I've heard of a dog with hat with.
Yeah.
But that's what they're doing now. They're taking all the projects that launched on Bonk and they're launching them now on Base. The exact same name. The exact same name. You're just making it blue instead of orange. So the hats are blue. So because it's Base chain. So there's a dog with hat that we were saying, oh, this is gonna go to like hundreds of millions. Yeah, it's retraced quite substantially over there. And then other ones that have heard about these massive pre-sales. People are talking mad crap about like Roost. And people are saying, oh, this is going for Coinbase, and how it launched out with like 700 ETH buys in the very beginning and went to like 150, 180 million right off the bat, sitting at about 20. I mean, it's kind of interesting seeing these projects with hundreds of millions of dollars injected into them, and we're not too far off from where they're at and all the publicity and the, I guess you could say, the drama that follows them. But yeah, I mean, I think that is a big negative when you have drama on a project. It's better when there's not, because then you can just build organically without dealing with all the BS, essentially. I mean, I think the only drama that we have is that we take our time and people, sometimes like want to chase something else that's shiny. And I'm like, that's totally fine. That's cool. Like, it's not promised to happen quickly. I mean, that's what they say if you come into the space and you don't know what you're looking for, just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, because a lot of things look attractive and they're really not, fortunately. And good things take time to build. But I think a lot of people will look at some things that pop off. I didn't even notice this yesterday. Is this yesterday? Yesterday they launched Pepe and he's blue.
Oh, really?
This is stupid though, because
this is so boring.
Yeah, it's Pepe and it's blue, but they're putting X0x69 all over like as the banner and stuff. But the contract address is C233 what it ends in. It doesn't even end it. Oh wait, that's funny. Now I'm wrong. They managed to put the first 0x69. They did that. Interesting.
What?
They launched Pepe on Base. So that's what they're doing right now. This is the big meta. Launch everything that you launched on Solana and ETH and put it on Base. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
Originality points.
Yeah, that doesn't really contribute to any innovative things.
I wonder how this works, because what if Pepe goes multi-chain? How there'd be two different Pepes on Base then? I guess it's only stays on Ethereum, but when it, like With, for example, With is a $1 billion project on Ethereum, but now there's a With on Base.
Solana, no?
Is it Solana? Yeah. It's on Solana. With is on With on Solana. And same. Oh, they did Bunk too. There's Bunk, which is Bunk is on Solana, but then they launched Bunk on Base. But these are not associated with each other. It's like if someone went and launched Earn on base, even though there is already an earn on base bridged over, and they're not tied together. It's like
Yeah.
that. Instead of making the flame black and white, they made it blue and white or something like that. I think a lot of this started happening because of the gas fees going up with Ethereum for a minute, but now everything's down again in regards to gas and Ethereum. And I think a lot of money is going to pour into Ethereum in the future. I think people have been bouncing around between Solana, then to AVAX. There was even this Phantom play for a minute that people were throwing a lot of money at. I saved it. It was called Speedy. Did you
Yeah.
see that? Did you see that shared? It was shared in our group. Speedy was shared at like 30-40 million dollar market cap.
Mm-hmm.
This alpha play. It's like around like 6 million right now. And because they thought this would be, it is actually ranked number one. It's so maybe it might does numbers, but it is the top trading coin on Phantom currently. But I think everyone was saying this is going to be the Phantom project that does numbers. No more or less just revives the chain.
Yeah, is it really anything? I mean, yeah, we had those people arrested of that
Yeah,
mixer
let's pull the
kind of
news up in
thing.
that. Bitcoin, I think Wendy made a video about that. Let's watch that. I'm gonna listen to it. What she has to say about.
I mean, a lot of people are very upset, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, yeah,
Like,
when you do that, that's what's gonna happen.
I mean, it is, I mean, we've seen it with Tornado Cash. So why do you think this time it's different? You know, I mean, I still don't think it's right to arrest developers because, um, I mean, they're not money laundering, but I guess like
They're facilitating it, so they are in a weird
right.
sense.
So
Yeah,
also like in traditional finance, you gotta make sure you have compliance with all these anti-money laundering laws. Um, so why would they be exempt of that? That's what surprises me. So yeah, I'm wondering how individuals that work on privacy dexes and mixers, which essentially I think is the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, it's quite a risky undertaking given, you know, all the development you put money in, but there is a very high, if you're successful, there's a very
interesting.
high chance, or even if you're not successful, because this goes in an area where I feel like the government is very interested to not let it happen.
Tumblers or mixers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, using one's one thing. Building one and facilitating it. Good luck with that.
I mean, both is a problem, right?
Well, if you
You'll be
use
able to
one,
use it until they shut it down. Like it's not legal to
yeah.
use Tornado Cash at this point, I think.
I think the CIA utilizes it actually, not just the
I think that they're
CIA.
monitoring it, obviously.
No, I saw something that the CIA not only uses Tornado Cash, but they also use Tor. And there was this big to do in regards to like people using these illegal these mixers and these sites where you can't track IP addresses or track any information.
Yeah.
But then also they realized that their agents in the field need security, needed anonymity. And I'm like, oh, surprise, surprise. You don't
Yeah.
want your agents to be tracked and they're out there. And
Right.
so it turns out that it's a useful tool, for the U.S. government to hide their agents out there, but they don't want the U.S. citizens to do the same damn thing. But yeah, Tornado Cash and Tor, the Tor browser. Yeah, the CIA uses these.
Yeah.
I guess that's one thing you can do, right? You can build something like this, these different security, privacy tokens or privacy chains, and then you can try to sell it to the U.S. government. That's probably your best option, to build something and sell it to them. Then they won't arrest you for using it and give it to the general public. Wasn't there an episode of Billions when they did that with this guy's technology? He was building something, I forget what it was, but he built something really cool. And then it was leaked to the government what he was doing. And then they just decided that your technology is in better hands of the United States of America. And they came in and just took it. And I forget what it's called, but yeah, if you build something and the United States decides that this is something we need more than you, they could just take it.
I don't know. Yeah.
National security or something like that, whatever they said. I should watch that episode again. But I saw that and I was like, wow, I didn't know that if you built something, they could just take it from you if it's for their betterment. God, I'm trying to think now what that was that he built. But I do think that things that relate to privacy, the U.S. would probably like access to.
So SoundSwap works with the secret network.
There was an AMA about that recently, wasn't there? Secret network.
Yeah, but
is it a secret since you know about it? No, tell me about it. What do you know about it?
Nothing. But I mean, I'm just curious. How do they do this? How is this legal doing this? Are they just banking on making enough money before they get shut down?
I have no idea. I haven't looked into it. I know that Monero was a good run before it got removed from most platforms. I remember back in 2021, Firo, that cryptocurrency we had a lot of money in, that we started seeing that all the privacy coins were being attacked. I think that was on an episode of what's the guy that drinks the coffee in the morning?
Oh, Ivan on Tech.
Ivan on Tech. Yeah, he's always drinking coffee, this black coffee, and he was talking about privacy coins being attacked, which they were heavily. And most exchanges made announcements they're being removed from their platforms because, yeah, they're mixers. You can put your money to the exchange and you can withdraw from Monero to one exchange to another, and there's no way of tracking it. I'm looking at privacy coins right now. Which ones exist? All right, so we have privacy coins, top privacy coins that still exist. Monero, I've heard of. Zcash, Dash, Zencash, XDG, I haven't heard of that one. Bitcoin, yeah. Decred. Oh man, I actually like Decred. Beam, Grin. I remember Voskin was mining Grin. It was like a little photo of like a smiley face, but it was grinning. Verge, Private Chain. There is one called Secret. I don't know if that's related to it. Those are the top ones. Ring CT's on there too. But what is happening with Monero? It's $119 right now. Oh, it's actually down. Now I'm interested in privacy coins because people talk about privacy coins a lot, but I don't own any privacy coins. XMR, it's actually ranked, it's actually pretty high up there. XMR is ranked number 48 on CoinMarketCap with a $2.1 billion market cap. It's only about, so last cycle, well, 2018, it hit during the bull run. I remember it hit like $450. And then the next cycle in 2021, it hit $480. And now it's sitting at $100. So it did run hot both sides. So it's probably going to go up again. Today we look at it, it's still listed, also listed on a decent amount of exchanges. You can get it on KuCoin, Gate.io, Mexi. Those are the big ones. Oh, I didn't know you can get it on Kraken. That's interesting. Was there an announcement, Nadina, that Kraken was going to delist privacy coins or something like that?
They delisted a few, but I'm not sure if it was particularly privacy coin.
No. Yeah, it's definitely listed on Kraken. There was a here now autistic meta. It happened like 7 months ago. There was a bunch of people creating cryptocurrencies. There's actually a Monero. Harry Potter, Obama, Sane 9000, and you. That came out. I don't know. What do you think about Monero?
I haven't really looked into it or ever used it.
It's a proof of work cryptocurrency. It's mineable.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually curious how they. So you're saying there is no, like, you can't see on the blockchain where funds go.
I believe so. I'm reading about it right now
Mm-hmm.
on their website. Monero means money, private decentralized cryptocurrency that keeps your finances confidential and secure. There it goes. It says that Monero transactions are confidential and untraceable, unlike selectively transparent alternatives like Zcash. Monero is the only major cryptocurrency where every user is anonymous by default. The sender, receiver, the amount of every transactions are hidden through the use of three important technologies: stealth, address, ring signatures, and ring CT. Because every transaction is private, Monero cannot be traced. This makes it a true fungible currency. Merchants and individuals accepting Monero do not need to worry about blacklisted or tainted coins. So they just stop listing them and stop listing it instead. Interesting. You can mine it. That one is GPU mineable. Yeah, so they're GUI wallet. How do you mine it? If this is GPU mineable, I'm going to spin up my miner and actually start running it for a little bit. Get a little bit of Monero. Here it goes. How to mine Monero. Let's see here. Does it use GPUs? Monero can be mined with both CPUs and GPUs. And you have the pools. You can mine. We can mine Monero. I wonder what you make per day. What I would make per day mining Monero of one GPU. So talking with Wookie yesterday, I was thinking about getting back involved in mining.
Yeah.
Oof. So if I used a 1080 Ti, I would make negative 27 cents per day right now.
Okay.
So I would lose money mining it. Okay. I mean, it'd be kind of cool though to do it. Looks like no GPUs are profitable mining this thing right now, unless you have free power. A 24-hour period, a 1080 Ti would earn you 2 cents per day. I think if I walked outside, down the block, I'd probably find 2 cents in a matter of like minutes, just walking around outside. So the best GPU out there, which would be the which you can mine it with, is a 3090. We give you a nickel per day mining this.
Okay.
It's weird that they have so many miners mining Monero, but it's so unprofitable to mine. I know why it is now. Because people can't purchase it off of centralized exchanges without being tracked, probably. Yeah, because now KuCoin and Kraken both require KYC to utilize them. And so they can see you're buying Monero. And so what if you wanted to purchase Monero, but you didn't want to be tracked? Then you mine it. So you can mine it. You can set up these miners that are a little bit net negative. You could call this a tax for entry. If you're spending 10 to 50,000 bucks a month in power, what you're really doing is you're putting 50,000 bucks into Monero per month with no KYC.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Now, once you have the Monero, what can you do with it? You can't just send it to Kraken because you need to KYC yourself to trade it there. So I guess maybe you stay within them in there. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but I know you can get it. At least you can get it though without being tracked. If you pay a quite substantial electricity bill. It's pretty cool though. Kind of makes me want to power up my my little mining rig to waste about 25 cents a day to do it. You know what I forgot? I was going to uh, change base chain to USDC instead of keeping it on ETH, that liquidity pool, but I already
Mm-hmm.
provided the pool to the DexFi guys. So I still might do that. Eliminate the Ethereum pool and create a USDC pool
Mm-hmm.
because it makes sense. Why would I have a USD? Why would I have a neat pool while also having a USD, not having a USDC pool on the other chain?
Yeah. And they still can swap ETH into earn anyways. Like it will just route through. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. It's kind of weird. Bitcoin now, just through these runes, it's just gonna it's going through the same like evolution like Ethereum.
I think so. I
I
still haven't looked
mean,
into ruins.
I'm seeing like marketplaces see searching runes based dog token trading. Market cap now at 319 million. It's like, now they can do everything on Bitcoin that they did on Ethereum already. They can do the dogs, they can do the weird ass memes, they can like it's kind of weird. Because nothing has happened out there yet. So in that regard.
No, I mean there was the rune stones that were pretty big, weren't they? I mean, I
No,
think there
that's what I
are.
mean. It started with the runes.
Right.
That's what I mean. Now they can do like what you said, they're moving all the Solana tokens and base. Like, but Bitcoin is essentially a clean slate. So they can do all the metas that Ethereum has gone through since
Oh,
over the
yeah.
past 4 years. They kind of it started with Doge, right? Essentially. Now are we gonna do, well, that's its own coin anyways, but yeah, now they can start with the dogs and then they do the cats and you know
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how they do it. They're meme coins. I mean, maybe I'm
yeah.
oversimplifying that, but they're meme
I mean,
coins.
it's ERC20 tokens. That's what I mean. Like, and Ethereum has gone through a lot of different um, themes since that is possible, right? And I feel like Bitcoin is now doing the same evolution through all these different themes that people come up with.
So the top pre-rune, let me look at the top. All right, so you have, yeah, rune stone. Wow. I mean, I saw this shared actually in that room at like zero point 0.1. Now they're down to 0.02 BTC. Hmm. Bitcoin puppets, ruin pups, ordinal maxi biz. I was seeing some people talk about these on YouTube about these being a new hot thing. There was even with somebody in the MOKK that mentioned it actually, that people are not paying attention to them, but they look like meme coins. Bitcoin frogs. Somebody was talking about Bitcoin frogs for a long time. It sounds really familiar. Yeah, I've seen Bitcoin frogs before.
Yeah, the toads, that was the ordinals, right?
Um, you know what? This isn't. See, Bitcoin frogs aren't. Oh, Jesus Christ. These aren't. Those are ordinals. And if
Yeah,
those are NFTs, those aren't runes. Runes are the fungible ones.
right.
And Bitcoin frogs are non-fungible, right? Okay. because they're just all the same. Yeah, like I have right here, Bitcoin punks, which are like the Bitcoin NFTs. Should we dive into this? I feel like I've been watching it from the sidelines.
Yeah, it's just we can't do much. I feel like with Earn with it. Um, I mean, it's interesting to learn about how it works and everything, but it's very difficult to get people on a chain that has not the same wallet. A lot of people are not, me included, very familiar with, you know, browser wallets or any
Oh, I set
wallets
one. I
that
set
can
one
be.
up. It's actually not similar. It's very similar to MetaMask.
Yeah, I figured, but
Yeah.
you want to research which ones do you get and which ones are safe and
Well, I have no idea anything about these collections at all. I have no idea what the hell's going on with Bitcoin punks or
yeah.
Runestone's looking just a meme coin. I mean, I guess they were all airdropped and they were the hot thing. I mean, they are the hottest thing. You look at sales. Yeah, the top sales were Bitcoin or these rune stones. And wow, they
Hmm.
save a total volume. That's in a day. What's the 30-day? Okay, so these things have sold in the last 30 days 2,000 Bitcoin. That's a little bit of money in 30 days. So just around $130 million in 30 days. That's why they got attention. And that's actually by far. Let's see what else has done that. No, nothing's done that. Runestone, the Ruined Stone did the most. They did 2,000 BTC in 30 days. Now I'm just following the money. They did 2,000 BTC in 30 days, and Ruined Pups did 700. Bitcoin Puppets, INK. This is actually this game. How this works is not much different than looking at NFT collections on OpenSea. I'm actually doing a similar model. I'm just looking at the money. Like, what's the top collections and what they're doing out there?
Yeah, I mean the concept is not different, right?
No, it's not.
I mean that's what I put out a post the other day. Like there's always this war, like which blockchain is better, and this is more decentralized, and this is faster, and this is more scalable, but this is real money, and this isn't real money, and it's like what does it matter at this point? Like
Like some
because
of the Matrix, what is real?
uh,
Like they say in the Matrix, what is real? Still not real money.
no, I feel like you know, like yeah, like obviously, I mean, I personally, I would love if crypto was actually meeting all those ideals that it was created for, like that it is fully decentralized, it's permissionless, and yeah, it's basically equalizing people's ability to transact money and make money, and build applications that everybody can use. But these ideals are very difficult to achieve in a world where you don't have that. And so a lot of people that are very deep into the space, especially Bitcoiners, because Bitcoin has been a very decentralized and open source way of doing things. So there is no foundation that's driving the development. There are lots of people that voluntarily contribute and have been from the beginning, right? And then it started very under the radar, which also allowed a lot of people to participate before it actually got popular. On the Ethereum side, you have the Ethereum Foundation that raised money to even start, right? And then you have them um, like basically dictating where the development is going, right? So, And Bitcoin people, they shit on Ethereum because they say like, well, this is not really crypto how it was intended to be, because you have a foundation and a few individuals to tell everybody how the things are developed and how it's evolving. But at the same time, because the development is faster that way, a foundation can is much more efficient than open source. And we've seen that with Bitcoin, it's extremely slow how how things are being updated and upgraded. So it just takes forever, right? Especially because I mean, maybe I don't know enough about it, but I feel like it's also a funding issue. If a foundation has funds to pay developers, or at least put out bounties for individuals to get when they develop and contribute to the ecosystem, then you have much more people being interested in it. And that just accelerates how things are developed and evolve. And yes, it's not ideal in a sense of being fully decentralized and permissionless, but at the same time, it's much more innovative. Things are crash and burn much more quickly, which shows it's a huge playground, right? Because it's a new technology, you have to try out stuff. And the more you try things out and the more you fail, the faster you move forward. And I think there is no point for Bitcoiners to shit on Ethereum, because they're actually, I think, that they're taking a lot of ideas from Ethereum that have been tested and battle tested, and they can do things better because they see how it played out in the Ethereum ecosystem. And then they can do it in Bitcoin with their more so-claimed, more decentralized system, and they can do it better, right? So I think, yeah, even if some of these, I mean, even Solana, I would say, like, I don't like Solana, but at the same time, and I think it's a lot of shady stuff happening. Things I've read about the Solana Foundation, how they're dealing with funds, and how they crazily inflate the currency too, and all that stuff. I don't like pretty much anything about it. But they have offered a very innovative new technology to make L1 blockchain much faster. And now new blockchains come out that are related to what they tried, like parallelized transactions, right? And so you have to say, I think it's say, not Sui, they're both blockchains, I believe, but I think it's say that is one that is in a similar way, like Solana, but apparently better. Or Aptos is also has its own language, but is also parallelized blockchain. So even if even if there is shady stuff with some of these projects, or the funds were meddled, in the beginning or later or whatever, I think they still bring value to the innovation, because they come up with new concepts that can then later on translate it to a system or ecosystem that is morally or ethically more what people want. That's what I believe. So I think I always hate when people are like, this is shit and you should only do this. And I personally don't like Solana. I'm not really on there much because I just personally don't like it, but I don't think they're generally not contributing to the crypto space. I think they're very innovative, and hopefully, I mean, they will figure out to make their chain run and not crash all the time. Because then it's actually a very interesting blockchain. So yeah, it's a little rant on that.
Speed, accessibility, ease of use.
Right.
Those are
Yeah,
some
and
of
there are
those were
always
the core values.
drawbacks. There are always drawbacks, and especially when it comes to efficiency of development. Um, yeah, often it's most efficient to have a leader and then push it forward. Like the more democratic something is, the slower it gets. And you see that with the Swiss government. It's probably the most democratic one that you can find worldwide, but gosh, it's so slow. It takes years to change something, right? And here in the US, you can have an executive order and it's gonna be implemented within a month or whatever.
But some people don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, there are also job like if you have someone that has good intentions and they care about an issue that matters, this is a very good thing, right? But if you have someone that is not interested in actually the population, and then this can be a bad thing. But in the democratic way, it's just you do it democratically, but it takes years to get something through. Like, and also sometimes things change within that time frame. So there's good pros and cons for both. And yeah, I mean, we listened to that speech,
Charles Hawkinson.
Charles Hutchinson's speech, and he was very advocating for decentralizing governance of a project, but I don't think it's necessarily very smart to do that from the beginning.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, what he was saying, basically was saying that this would work. I don't agree with that. I mean, all it takes is somebody with money to come in, and especially if there's some type of decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO that's set up, then somebody can come in with, based on how big the project is, of course, and they can take over either way. I mean, if it is truly decentralized and it's privacy, you don't need to know everyone's wallets. How do you know that one person doesn't hold like 90% of the supply because they came in with a couple $100 million and it's bought it up?
Right.
Like all it takes is a few billionaires, and I bet you they can break his system. With Cardano. Just, I mean, when people say, "Oh, well, people won't sell," I'm like, okay, at what point won't people sell? I got that a lot actually from folks early on with Vern. People were saying, "Oh, the NFTs, they're too expensive. They won't sell." And I'm like, well, then someone's going to sell their tokens at some point and make the tokens cheaper, and then someone will buy, and then they will either mint the NFTs or they will hold to a certain point and then they will sell, and the cycle will continue over and over again. And that's just how it works: mint or sell. And some folks say like, well, I'm not going to sell at 1 billion or 100 billion. I'm like, okay, I mean, that'd be interesting to see if that's the case. But like right now, that's a fun little math review of how much we need to mint up the rest of the NFTs and how much there currently is available in the market. So it looks like there's currently in our V2 pool 21,300,000. All right. And that's what you can purchase off the market, which you can't purchase all that. It's not possible. It would be probably in the multi-billions if that was even attempted. But it's just, hypothetical. No one sells. You could buy up 21 million tokens. All right. And there's still currently left 173. On the flamelings, and one is 713. Okay, plus 713. All right, so 21 million tokens available to purchase, but you need 88.6 to mint out all the remaining NFTs. So if you would minus 21 million tokens. It means it's people that hold, earn, need to utilize 67,300,000 tokens that currently hold. And it's there, it's out there. I mean, there's 430 million tokens in circulating supply. So that's 3 times. Yeah, almost 4 times, 4 or 5 times that. So it's always a point. And so saying that, going back to the decentralized system that you were talking about, like Charles Hoskinson, and how these systems work, I was like, I would question it because you bring enough money in, people are going to be influenced to sell, to take profit, and then they're going to have control of the system at some point. And it's capitalism. Unless you can stop people from selling, right? The only way to do that. But stopping people from selling is like pausing trading, which would be a whole different other thing. Some projects do that. They have those capabilities where the contracts aren't immutable.
Yeah.
But beautiful thing about Earn is that it's an immutable contract. Contracts renounced, nothing can change. So simple thing to do is just buy, hold, and earn. That's how you just accumulate as much as possible at the lower caps. Just gonna be plenty of people, in my opinion, are going to buy much higher market caps in due time, especially when volume and liquidity starts moving back around to Ethereum into the overall market. A lot of people think there's a lot of money coming into the space. All you gotta do is look at the total market capitalization. We're at 2.24. So we haven't peaked out of that area yet. So money's just cycling around. And majority of it actually is in Bitcoin. Its dominance is fairly high. This stuff you can see if you go onto CoinMarketCap and look at Bitcoin dominance, which, let's see, is currently at 53%. So half of the market, more than half of the market is Bitcoin, and then almost 70% is Ethereum, but it's actually down quite a bit. Just take out BNB and Solana. Yeah, Bitcoin's pushing pretty high. But anywho, we're gonna close out, guys. I appreciate those that actually tuned in and hung with us for a little bit. I'm gonna go for a run and get a bite to eat afterwards. We'll be inside spaces probably later today, bouncing around to the different rooms. Make sure you guys follow and join if you can. And also we'll probably pop up in the VC at some point to let people talk if they have any questions or comments about crypto. All right, you all take care. I'll talk to you later.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Talk to you later.